Welcome to Community Developments, a monthly program that will provide an overview of current activities and projects of the City of Owensboro Community Development Department. The Community Development Department administers a variety of grant funds that the city receives. We have one full-time and one part-time staff member. The Community Development staff is committed to making a significant difference in our community. We make that difference in several ways. One way is through creating neighborhood redevelopment plans, such as Baptisttown, Old Germantown District, and most recently, the Mechanicsville neighborhood. We build and rebuild streets, sidewalks, and make other public improvements in the northern third of the City of Owensboro. We have a housing program that constructs new homes that are sold to low to moderate income individuals and families. Almost 300 homes have been constructed so far. We have an existing homeowner rehab program that helps people make repairs to their homes. Over 440 homes have been assisted through that program. We create partnerships with nonprofit and private developers to expand the availability of affordable housing. Over 220 rental units have been created. We administer the historic preservation and downtown design review process. We assist developers through the regulatory process in downtown. Community Development administers other special grants that the city receives. Our challenge to you is to look for ways that you can make a significant difference in the lives of people who live on your street, in your neighborhood, and in your community. Now let's see what's going on in the City of Owensboro Community Development Department.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to see such a great turnout for the ribbon cutting of Cottages of Mechanicsville and celebrating the opening of these homes. And we were supposed to be outside in the pavilion. The weatherman, when we checked it earlier in the week, it was going to be mid-40s and the sun was going to be shining, but things don't always happen in life like they're supposed to. But a home is a place to keep someone out of the cold. So we didn't think it'd be very respectful for what's taking place here if we didn't move out of the cold and in some place where it was a whole lot warmer. So we're glad of each one that's come to commemorate this day and to celebrate what's taking place here. About 2 years ago, more or less, Keith Free. Keith is kind of a crazy guy, and he got this crazy idea that he could come in to this part of Owensboro and make a difference in people's lives. And when he went to his Rolodex and he started looking under crazy, he found the name of Walbuck Development Company with their nonprofit partner, Housing Assistance and Development Services Incorporated, right there under the crazy heading. And he contacted us and said he's going to put out requests for proposals to redevelop this part of Owensboro. And when he presented the idea to them, they were just crazy enough to say, yeah, we'll work with you and try to get this done. But I'm thankful and appreciative all down through the pages of history and time that there's been men and women and organizations just crazy enough to think that they can make a difference in people's lives. Cottages of Mechanicsville are 22 single-family homes where the residents will ultimately have an opportunity to own the home that they live in and be able to be empowered to have better lives than they otherwise would have. We checked some of our demographics on the population that's already rented, and we've got an average median income of $22,000 a year for the existing residents, and with an average household size of 3.3 people. And if you think about someone making, which breaks down to, and these are, for the most part, for the vast working part, these are working people. These are people who are trying their best to turn the wheels of life, to provide for their family, try to provide a better opportunity for their households. And if you, for most of us here today, if you think about the challenges of making what would be about $10.50 an hour with 3 to 4 people in your household and trying to make the wheels turn on that and the difficulty of that taking place, surely we can all see a need to try to assist that family. We are most honored to have with us today the Honorable Brett Guthrie, Congressman from the 2nd District of Kentucky. The main financial stimulus that went into providing this housing is the low-income housing tax credit program, which has been on the books. It's actually on the Internal Revenue Code since 1986. That opportunity provides incentive to private enterprise, private investment to invest in affordable housing. At that time, back during the Reagan administration, they looked at what the public sector was doing, and there was a feeling that this could be done better by involving the private sector and private investment, where the government would invest in producing not just upfront costs, but when the rubber actually hit the road and they were actually producing and generating an affordable unit at a household that had affordable income, that would be a situation that the government could invest in. And it has been a very, very highly success story and remains today one of the main and the primary development resource for the new development and the rehabilitation of affordable housing. And that is a congressional program that's on the books. It's under constant review, just like all the other budget items are. And I want Congressman Guthrie to know that we need this resource. The families, the working families of the state of Kentucky need this resource. And we're glad to be able to have the opportunity for him to come and be with us here today to commemorate this day. So, Congressman?
Appreciate that. Thank you. You know, it's interesting. I was actually driving here this morning and had a phone call from Louisville. There's a guy named Joe Elliott, does a big radio show, so I was live. And just as I went live on the air, I just crossed the Owensboro city limits. So I said, I'm just crossing into Owensboro. And so we started talking. I guess whoever was listening, a few thousand people in Louisville, about the beauty here and what has happened and what's been transformative of this city downtown, from the park downtown, what you've done with the riverfront, the convention center that's going to be opening soon. And I was thinking about all that, and it's all to attract. It's to be nice for your citizens to come downtown. It's to be nice for people from my part of the state to come downtown, because I like to come here and just enjoy it. But I was driving here. I said, you know, it's for people who live here too, what's happening in this city. And the vision that people have to just not make it nice to be part of the city, but to live in it and live in nice places and a place that's affordable. And that's so important. And what had happened in 1986, I wasn't in Congress at the time, but we also have to keep these things going. And it fits, you know, a philosophy of mine. One, that you incentivize private investments to go into a community, places that it probably wouldn't go if it wasn't incentivized, and to build nice things for people to live in. And if you incentivize them, you make it affordable. And that's what it's about. And the other thing is, after 15 years, people have the opportunity to purchase it. And Abraham Lincoln actually started the Homestead Act. And the Homestead rules were you can have it as long as you own it and improve it. And Jack Kemp, who was housing secretary, used to say that you don't have to tell people to improve what they own, because that's going to happen. And so the way that you maintain these houses looking as nice as they are today is that people have a piece of them, a piece of the rock. And that's what it's all about. And so anything I can do in Washington for Gary and Anthony and people in their line of work, not just in their business, but to take advantage of incentives in the tax code to allow private investment to build affordable housing that's quality, it's nice, and it's something for people to be proud of. And I think that's the key to it all. And it's just every time I come here, and I come here quite often, your city just continues to show better faces of its physical beauty, and I'm looking forward to next month when you do the convention center as well. So thank you very much, and thanks for having me here.
The administration of the low-income housing tax credit program has been laid in the hands of Kentucky Housing Corporation, which is a state housing finance agency that is responsible for the administration, the oversight of the low-income housing tax credit program. And we are appreciative today to have with us Andy Halls, multifamily production senior director with Kentucky Housing Corporation. They allocated the tax credits to this project, and again, they were are a very valuable partner in the production of affordable housing throughout Kentucky, and remain the main stimulus for the production and the rehabilitation of affordable housing in the state. HUD itself, as some of you may know, is moving out most of its multifamily operations even completely out of the state of Kentucky. So they remain the driving force in affordable housing today.
I'm here on behalf of Kentucky Housing Corporation's Board of Directors, our Executive Director, Kathy Peters, and our Executive Management Team to congratulate Walbuck Development and Hands Incorporated for partnering with the city to help them to continue their long-term redevelopment plan. Many years ago, I met with Keith Free on the initial phases of the redevelopment plan, and it is such a great thing to witness the expansion and the continued drive to provide quality, affordable housing to those who are less fortunate. Through Kentucky Housing Corporation, as Gary and the Congressman mentioned, we provide the low-income housing tax credit program, which is a very competitive process in order to get. And I just want to champion or applaud Walbuck Development and Hands Incorporated's ability to navigate the rules and regulations to present successful applications. So congratulations. It's a well-deserved honor. Thank you.
The low-income housing tax credits are allocated by the state of Kentucky. As Andy said, it's a highly competitive process. And those credits are utilized to go to investors, which will in turn sell those out into the private equity markets to bring equity into the project. And we are most fortunate here in Kentucky to have good neighbors, especially those from Ohio Capital Corporation, whose headquarters is in Columbus, Ohio. And they have brought millions and millions of dollars across the Ohio River into the state of Kentucky to invest in affordable housing throughout the state. They've been an exceptional partner to our organization and to other organizations within the state and with Kentucky Housing Corporation on many projects that they've jointly worked on together. And we're pleased to have with us today Brian Langmeyer, Vice President of Development of Ohio Capital Corporation, with us today.
I don't want to say that my preference when we invest is to invest here in Kentucky, but there is something that happens when you cross the bridge on I-71. The people are great to work with down here, and we're just always happy to have the opportunity to work with the people of Kentucky and Gary and his great team, Tracy and Anthony and his team back at the office. You guys do such an exceptional job in every project we invest in. I do want to quickly thank Andrew Haas and Kentucky Housing Corporation, because many people don't know how competitive the tax credit program is. For every application that Kentucky Housing receives, really there's about a 3 or 4 to 1 applications to ones that they're able to fund. So I want to thank Andrew and his team for being able to see that this is a worthwhile project and one that they should fund. Just quickly, I want to talk about Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing. As Gary mentioned, we're out of Columbus, Ohio. We were formed in 1989, and since that time, we've invested over $2.8 billion. A good portion of that's in Ohio, but over the last 10 years, we've invested a significant amount of money here in Kentucky. Utilizing the low-income housing tax credit program, we have financed over 625 projects, created 32,000 housing units. And our role here was simply to provide private capital to the project. We were able to generate $3.8 million through the sale of the tax credits.
Our next speaker is the Honorable Mayor of the City of Owensboro, Ron Payne. We couldn't say enough good about how well we've worked together with the City of Owensboro to make this project come to pass. We've gone to other communities, and we haven't felt very welcome there. And matter of fact, we are being told we really, really wanted it all. But you should be appreciative that you've got a community and a town and a city that's working hard to find resources to be able to assist their citizens in finding safe, decent, affordable housing. So we appreciate everything the city has done to make this project come to pass, and the long work and the many obstacles that you have to overcome when you have a project such as this. So we're pleased today to have the mayor of the City of Owensboro with us, Mr. Ron Payne.
You know, people like Gary make it easy for us to cooperate and get some things done. But before I make a few remarks, and I will make them short, I can't say enough about Keith Free. Keith Free leads our community development program in this community. We all know about Baptist-town, Germantown, what he's done here with Mechanicsville and working with these folks. And we're getting ready to task him to head on another part of our town over around Triplet. So, and I'm sure he's going to do just as good a job over there as he's done with all of these other neighborhoods. But let's give him a hand. Keith, thank you. Many exciting things are happening in our city today. And I was just commenting to the Mayor Pro Tem, it seems like all we do is go to groundbreakings or ribbon cuttings, and that's a great problem to have, let me tell you. We're on the move like never before in our history, and much emphasis is being placed on the revitalization of our downtown. These gentlemen spoke to that. But there are many other great projects occurring in all parts of our city. One such project is the revitalization of Mechanicsville, a family-oriented neighborhood that enjoys a safe atmosphere, and because of our joint efforts will continue to do so for many years to come. One of the prime reasons for our success on so many fronts, let me say that again, one of the primary success in this community on so many fronts is our ability to create public-private partnerships. And as the Congressman pointed out, that's what makes all. Government can't do it all. We have to rely on people like these gentlemen to help us make these things happen. The city, in cooperation with the Kentucky Housing Corporation, Independence Bank, Ohio Capital, and Walbuck Development, is working to assist families, as has been pointed out, with affordable quality housing. Strong, well-maintained neighborhoods make a progressive city. We are fully aware of that, and that's why we're working and have been working in so many of the neighborhoods in this community. I want to thank all of our partners for their contribution to this great neighborhood.
I would just like to reiterate that, and it's a great turnout, and it's a very important project, but this is a perfect example that tax incentives do work. Public-private partnerships do work.